Good morning, everyone. My name's Tracy Russ. I have the honor of serving at Foundation for the Carolinas in a civic leadership role, and I want to recognize Laura Clark, FFTC president, who's joined us here this morning. And on behalf of Foundation for the Carolinas and our partners, Share Charlotte, United Way, the Lee Institute, and Goodwill, our host location partner for this morning, thank you. I want to say welcome. We're going to get started with a quick intro and welcome from Loretta Barber, Chief Advancement Officer for Goodwill, with a great opening message on this Monday morning. So, Loretta.
Welcome. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Loretta Barber. Thank you all for being here. I always start any opportunity that I have to highlight Goodwill by saying thank you. You have no idea how the community propels our mission. And I know this is a nonprofit audience that we have, but I want to see by a show of hands, how many of you donate to Goodwill, your material goods or financially? How many of you shop at Goodwill? See, room full. And so nothing that we do without community support. And so I just want to say thank you. And also thank you for being at this, coming to the campus today. Anytime people come to the campus, we get really excited because we want you to know that this building was designed with you in mind. It's not for Goodwill, it's for the community. We designed it with great intention for it to be a one-stop shop for folks. We designed it to be a gathering place for community. And we designed it to be a place where people can come in and really begin to reimagine their lives. And that's what happens every single day. And so I always want people to know that we're also Goodwill, we're also an employer. Did y'all know that? We employ 1,300 people at our 37 stores, at this campus, at our Create Employment Centers, at our regional hub in Rock Hill. So we take great pride in being an employer. We believe that we, through your partnership, allow people to really see a trajectory for their lives. I get really excited. I've been here 17 years, and really my connection to Goodwill has been over 30. I started as a member of the board 30 years ago, so I've been connected to this organization a long, long time. But I get a great deal of joy when I can walk around at our different stores, walk around here, and see people who have come to Goodwill. Either they were homeless, without direction, looking for new opportunities, didn't have transportation, and you see where they are now. You see them being housing secure now. You see them with transportation. You see them now being a manager of a store when they started as a cashier of a store. You see that growth. You see family units being uplifted by your generosity. You see husbands and wives, you see moms, you see dads, you see all these family units whose lives are being lifted and propelled because the community supports this mission. So again, I just say welcome to the Leon Levine Opportunity Center at the Goodwill Opportunity Campus. Thank you for all that you do to allow us to be all that we can be and to allow us to really live our purpose to help people see possibilities, to seize opportunities, and to prosper. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Loretta. It's fascinating to me, and I think encouraging for all of us to think about Goodwill and the many pivots, adaptations that Goodwill has made over years, because we're all familiar with the Goodwill store and this idea that we can take items from our own household that we perhaps aren't using anymore and dropping them off. But Goodwill is so much more these days. And as an employer, as a job training and opportunity center, and as a place where really economic mobility is built. So we can all share messages like that. You all have stories from your own work just like that. And the more we share each other's messages, the better off we'll all be. So thank you again to Goodwill and Loretta. I want to begin first with 30 seconds of table level introductions. And undoubtedly, many of you know each other already, but this is a community that we're building along the way. So let's take 30 seconds. Literally, these will be quick intros for you to do introductions at your table, and then we'll get started. Okay. And remember these connections you're making past this morning, more to come. And a special welcome again to those of you who are joining this morning online. And that is always an option. And as a reminder, all of our workshops are recorded and available to you. You'll get links to them following this morning's event. And again, as always, next sessions, next workshops will be based and built around what you tell us your needs are, what your priorities might be, areas of strength that you would like to build. So we are going to keep that dynamic going of listening first and responding according to what those needs and priorities are from the community. A couple of quick announcements about the agility effort overall, and then I'm going to introduce to you a good friend and an expert, Krista Terrell. The next session is on October the 20th. It is around fiscal strength building. Part of that will be exploring new ways to augment or create revenue. We will have nonprofit leaders who have gone through that experience. We're also going to feature one of our community's small business owners who has a community-minded business and can bring that perspective in, because we think there's some interesting links to be made in that. So we look forward to that session and look forward to you joining us. That will be the final formal workshop for this year. We'll take November and December off because we know it's end of the year, but we'll pick right back up in January with a topic to be determined per your input. So excited for that. That is, by the way, going to be held here again at Goodwill. We will begin switching up locations again as we enter the new year. On the other components of the Agility Together initiative, and as I've said, we're so happy at the foundation to partner with Share Charlotte, with United Way, with the Lee Institute, and others, including the Charlotte Executive Leadership Council, to offer supports for our nonprofit leaders, nonprofit organizations, and those that you serve in ways that we hope are effective and of value add. And when they stop being those things, we hope you will let us know along the way before they get there, so that we can adapt and pivot and make sure that we're continuing to help meet needs, which is our intention, and we're going to follow through on that. These workshops are one component of 3 for Agility Together. The other 2 are the establishment of a digital hub for all these resources that we're discussing and sharing on the foundation's website. And you'll get a link to that following this event and others. The third is this concept, an idea that we're calling the Agility Core. And the idea is to leverage the expertise and experience of some of our for-profit leaders, who many of whom are now retired, some not, but have the benefit of that experience that they are very eager to share with nonprofit leaders who wish to have the benefit of that experience on topics like strategic planning, risk assessment, risk mitigation, fiscal strength, revenue building, topics that are familiar to you through some of the workshops, but others. I want to tell you that in order for us to make best use of those capacities and again, respond to needs that we've heard from you, you're going to be receiving a survey that will ask you what specific areas of need or priority might an outside expert be able to help you with. This is meant to be a value add of support, not an intrusion. It is totally up to you, but the Agility Core offers the opportunity for us to connect nonprofit leaders, for-profit leaders in a way that can benefit those in the community that we all serve and advance our mutual interests forward in a different and unique way. So responding to that upcoming survey will be important, because just like these workshops, it will help us craft the program. Second part of that is you will also go through a short process of identifying needs specific to your organization, and then we'll match make with available for-profit leaders. And that will be done in a way that's very one-to-one. You'll both have a chance to meet. You can say, I don't know if this is the best fit or not. And we'll make sure that we adjust as we need to make those best fits happen. The Agility Corps will kick off with a pilot group later this year, small group, and then full deployment as we're entering into the first part of next year. But I want to make sure that everyone knows that anyone that expresses interest and goes through the process of raising your hand and saying, hey, here's some needs, we are going to try our very, very best to make sure that we pair you with expertise that's out there. And we're thankful for the Charlotte Executive Leadership Council for making those resources open and available to us as we're moving forward. As with everything agility related, it itself is agile, and we will adapt and pivot and revise it as we need to for best benefit. Lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't say you will, of course, receive a survey as always about this event today, and there'll be a QR code that you can use to quickly access that at the close of the session. And now I'm going to get out of the way, but not before I introduce Krista Terrell, who is a good friend and community partner, a stakeholder and participant in many, many civic activities. She is strategic and ethical and accredited public relations expert and nonprofit leader. She has been in the trenches of nonprofit leadership, and I can attest to that from firsthand experience, but also from her well-known experience as president of the Arts and Science Council here in Charlotte. Krista is someone who is bringing together the best of both worlds of leadership, communications, strategic outreach in a way that creates a set of unique impacts that she has deployed herself, and now through Krista Fay Public Relations offers out to clients in this community, across the state, and indeed nationwide. She has a set of expert skills in public relations, crisis management, advocacy, community building that we think you'll find invaluable. I know you've already seen the materials on your tables, and you will see Krista always arrives prepared and ready to move. So that's what we're going to do. And the last thing I'll end with: how many people have taken Strength Finders as an exercise and sort of know? So in the interest of sharing and the community knowledge, Krista, she did share with me that her strengths are discipline, responsibility, consistency, relationship, and last but certainly not least, and the one that resonated to me as the most vibrant with Krista when I think about her, is harmony. And Krista, we look forward to building harmony with you and being a participant in creating harmony across this community and others. And we thank you for lending your expertise today. And I'll bring you up and say, welcome. Thank you, Krista. Yeah.
I encourage you all to take care of yourself, so I'm going to get a drink of water real quick before I start. Well, good morning. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to the Agility Partners Coalition for bringing me here today. Today's goals, the big one: we are not going to solve everything today. We have to be out of here at 11 o'clock. But we're not going to solve everything today. And I have to remind myself that as well. I really want to take this time to give you all time to think. I understand in nonprofits, you're running 100 miles a minute, and you never really have time to stop and think. So our time today will provide you the opportunity to stop and think, and for me to provide a variety of strategies and tactics for you to think about and also to take back to your organizations. And also during our time, we'll have opportunities for engagement with table discussions and things like that. So, who can relate to this photo? I get it. These are really, really challenging times. We know that not just in Charlotte, Mecklenburg, but also statewide, nationwide, a lot of nonprofits are dealing with a lot. But also understand from the survey, you all talked about, challenging learning how to talk about the challenging landscape that you all are dealing with, funding landscape that you're dealing with, and the need for services and support. And also for you to think about the capacity of your teams. We are not machines. We are human beings. We can't go 100 miles an hour. We must take care of ourselves. But what are the priorities that we need to deal with? And as Tracy said, I mean, I understand. I've dealt with challenging times, from a staff member of a nonprofit organization to even leading a nonprofit, dealing with layoffs. I mean, I had to lay off 40% of my team at one time, had to deal with challenging frameworks where a government entity took a vote that removed operating support from the organization. So again, dealing with a lot. And every day you're kind of like, what is it today? What am I going to have to deal with? It's a lot. But during times like these, it's more important than ever to really lean into communications. Because especially communicating with your stakeholders is really, really critical. So while you feel like this, you may feel like this every day or several times a week or not, just know that I empathize with you and understand what you're going through. And also know that the reason why you wake up every day is because you have a dedication to the mission of the organization. So I want to read to you a piece that I wrote during my time as president of the Arts and Science Council. And in communications, you're dealing with three things: one, two, or three of three things: awareness, attitude, and action. Again, awareness, attitude, and action. So to give context to this, in 2021, a project called the Infusion Fund was created. It was a great project that demonstrated what an infusion of funds can do to support the arts and cultural sector. But when it was rolled out, it caused a lot of confusion for in the cultural sector, but also for ASC donors, because a huge piece of that, of the funding that we gave, was to operating support, which was the largest grant-making program in our portfolio of work. And then again, the whole cultural sector had never recovered from the 2008 Great Recession, so funding was a challenge as well. But this photo was taken with the new team of ASC. Again, I had to lay off 40% of my staff, but it was really about us coming together and, more importantly, communicating to our stakeholders that we are still here doing the work and what it is that we are not doing anymore. So it's called A New Beginning. Today, July 1st, is a new year for ASC and many nonprofits in the creative sector. For ASC, it is an exciting time as we are investing in people, programs, and ideas that move us toward a more equitable, sustainable, and innovative creative ecosystem. Our work is possible thanks to public and private donors that understand, believe in, and fund our work to serve all residents of Charlotte-Mecklenburg by funding creative individuals and organizations of all sizes with a cultural equity lens. Every day, our team is guided by the following values in their planning and execution of the work: equity, the lens through which all decisions are made; community, centering community in all we do, leading by listening; collaboration, starting with partnership, creating with and not for; accessibility, opportunity for all to participate; accountability, being honest, transparent, and fiscally responsible. Becoming a more equitable organization remains our top priority. In all aspects of our grant making, we are eliminating barriers to access funding opportunities, ensuring there is a broad diversity of community perspectives, in decision making, holding ourselves accountable by tracking who we are and are not funding, and mitigating existing inequities in funding. These equity practices lead to equitable distribution of resources. We continue to review our policies and practices and make changes to ensure we are living and advancing our commitment to equity. We will report to the community on our progress in our next cultural equity report. What will be different about ASC? You will see us lean into our strengths as a connector, a capacity builder, and an advocate for the sector. This is ASC. Investing in a musical that addresses poverty, addiction, HIV/AIDS, and the struggles of the LGBTQ+ community living in a southern city. Providing North Mecklenburg residents with a focus on lower income population, children and seniors, access to music in non-traditional and traditional venues. Helping an artist record a full-length album featuring local Latin artists and highlights the diversity of Latin music styles created in Charlotte. Supporting teens exploring racial and social equity, including the Black Lives Matter movement through the arts. Cultivating experiences and cultural programs that engage residents and foster community in southern Mecklenburg towns. Advocating for equitable distribution of government funds, supporting initiatives and policies that put the artists who fuel our creative economy to work, and so much more. We have ended our largest grant-making program in terms of dollars invested that supported the operations of large, mid-size, and small organizations. Increased funding from the City of Charlotte and corporate donors is supporting that effort. However, it is important to understand that ASC will continue to support those organizations, along with new and emerging groups, to creative individuals, the lifeblood of our cultural community, through other ASC grant programs and capacity building efforts. Thank you for continuing to support ASC and our vision of an equitable, connected community where creativity is central, celebrated, and supported. Krista Terrell, ASC President. P.S. Tell us how we are doing. It is important for you to hear from us. It's important for us to hear from you. You can always share your feedback at asc@artsandscience.org. That communication was also done because we just came off of the heels of publishing our inaugural cultural equity report. So again, connecting the stakeholders to the team and to what the work ASC is doing. So feedback is really, really important. And when I sent that email, an hour later, received this email from Randy Cohen, who is Vice President of Research with Americans for the Arts. He wrote, it's maybe hard to read, and also for those online. Hi, Krista. This is a wonderful announcement and communications approach to all of the amazing and strenuous work you have been doing. Congratulations. It feels fresh, personable, it's specific, it's a jargon-free, easy read, and most folks can see how they can connect. I have passed it along to our new CEO, Nolan Bivens, as a great example of a local approach, not unlike what we will be tackling nationally. Hope you have a great holiday weekend. Warmest, Randy. So when we talk about with communications, getting that feedback is really important, because when I received that feedback, it let me know, it validated for me that, okay, what I sent out meant something. What I meant out communicated a message that people can resonate with. Yes, I received other communications in addition to Randy. Nothing negative, all good. Thank you for letting us know, et cetera. But this communication from Randy stood out to me because it talked about it's jargon-free, it's easy read, it's clear, it's personable. So that's what you would want in your communications. So first, before we start any messaging or communications, it's really important to talk about your value proposition. What is your value proposition? So starting with your value proposition, it's really important to answer this question. You also have it on your sheet. But value proposition helps address the challenges around the funding landscape. You know, I understand we're dealing with funding landscapes and challenges around that, but the value that you bring within your organizations is really critical. That is what you should be uplifting, not so much about the challenge of the funding landscape. So to answer this question, if I'm your ideal donor, why should I give to your organization rather to another or at all? Second, what is your organization's concise and unique selling proposition. Make it tight and make it unique. What makes you stand out? What is the work that you're doing that is unique? So then you also think about how you can frame your value proposition. Your organization names, solves, what is the problem that you're solving? By what are the unique claims that you are giving, which means X outcome. So let's think about, for example, I did one for PBS, who we know is facing a lot of challenging financial times. PBS solves America's need for accessible, high-quality educational and cultural media content by providing trusted, non-commercial programming that educates, inspires, and celebrates a diversity of perspectives, which means individuals and communities nationwide are empowered, informed, and strengthening the nation's cultural, social, and democratic fabric. So again, they're solving the problem, limited access to diverse educational and inspiring media that reflects a wide range of perspectives. The unique claims that they have is they're offering non-commercial, high-quality programming through a variety of platforms. It's really America's largest classroom and also stage for the arts. Provides trusted information and embraces diversity and inclusivity in their storytelling. So what's the outcome of that? Viewers become empowered, informed, inspired, and connected. So who can share an example of a value proposition that you have observed that really resonates with you? Anyone? Personally, what organizations do you give to? What makes you think? What's the value that they bring that makes you want to give? Think about that for a minute. Is there a nonprofit? It could be locally, nationally. Yes. The YMCA. Why is that? Let me bring the mic just so that online people can.
My perspective, I'm actually a member, so I believe that they're here to cater to the whole person. So not just physically, not just mentally, not just spiritually, but they have like those different umbrellas for different age groups. And it's just for the whole family, the whole person. That's how I look at it.
Anybody else? Yes.
I think of my friends E2D. I think about they take computers from corporate partners and they use high school students to help refurbish them and gives them a great wage, prepares them for the workforce, and helps that cycle, and then uses those computers to get back in the hands of community members or nonprofits at an incredibly affordable rate.
Thank you for sharing. We're going to have an exercise around this as well, so just bear with me. I want to give an example of a strong value proposition. Who's heard of Charity Water? Yep, it's a great organization. They bring clean, safe drinking water to people every day in developing countries, and every dollar donated goes directly to water projects with separate funding for overhead. So they are funded by private donors. So if you make a gift today, 100% it will go towards their clean water projects. And why it's strong is because this approach reassures donors that 100% of their funding is going directly to the clean water projects, but they also set themselves apart because they really lean on transparency and also through GPS data tracking so that you can see how your money is being used. So when you think about with Charity Water, that's just one way of how they're showing their value proposition. Also on your sheet are core elements of a value proposition. Not going to read these to you again. You have it on your sheet. But these are the elements for you to think about as you're creating your own value proposition. Who has a value proposition? Does anyone have a value proposition already? Yes, you do. Do you want to share? Okay.
I mean, I did it for our organization. It's Hopeway solves mental health access by offering holistic treatment, educational opportunities, and financial assistance, which means reduce stigma and measurable progress in mental health.
What's your mission statement?
I mean, that pretty much is our mission statement. So I reworded it.
Okay.
Hey,
So-
Krista, quick question. What would be the difference between a value proposition and your case for support?
So the value proposition shows like why you're doing this work. Kind of connects with mission, but mission should not be your value proposition. Really shouldn't be your mission. Your case for support connects with all of the different elements that you're doing to be able to reach to your mission. Value proposition really focuses on what are the unique claims that you're doing, what sets you apart for that, so that the donor can have a connection to it. So we're going to have a table exercise. I want each table to select a question. And again, giving you all time to think. Select a question and dig into that as it relates to your organization. And we're going to start now. We only have a short time. So pick one of the questions. You have note cards at your table. And think about that. And a reminder, we're not going to solve this today. It's just for you to start thinking. It's good discussion, continue, but also write on your note cards as well as you think about one of these questions. Give you a few more minutes and then we'll wrap up. A few more minutes. Okay. Okay, everyone, let's wrap up. Good discussion. Okay, so again, we're not going to be able to solve this today, unfortunately. But it's a starting point to have the conversation. So who took question 1? And thank you, Tracy. Who took question 1 and would like to share? What specific problem are we uniquely positioned to solve for our community or donors? Who took number 1?
Someone's going to
Someone.
break the ice, I know. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning, you all. Hi, my name is Joy. I'm here representing Generational Wealth Educators. We are a financial wellness program that specifically works with low-income communities to introduce them to virtual realities that not only help them create their idea of what success looks like to them, but also enact that, right? So low-risk environments to figure out how to invest, how to save, buy, et cetera, without, breaking the bank. That said, our specific problem we're uniquely positioned to solve is making sure people have access to high-end technology where otherwise they might not even have access to social media. Due to the digital divide, I guess you could call it, there are oftentimes people who might not even have like the strongest internet because of where they live in town or even phone service, et cetera. So we double check that we're in those places where they might come for wraparound services, and then they can also get access to our services.
Is there anybody else doing the work that you're doing that you believe in the community?
I know that there are people doing work with technology, but
Mhm.
I know they're not doing it with virtual reality.
Thank you. That's a good point. Anybody else took number 1 would like to share? Okay, over here. Thank you.
I'm on the way. I heard you making a couple of great comments. So
Thank you. I'm gonna try to stand up. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Well, we actually took all of them, but we we discussed number 1, because my organization is Mecklenburg Council of Elders, and we do criminal record expungements, and we do 4 expungement clinics a year. And we have approximately 300 individuals registering with us for criminal record expungements per quarter. So we do approximately 1,200 criminal record expungements or services thereof a year. And what we do uniquely that's different is that if in fact a person cannot receive a criminal record expungement because they have disqualifying issues, Then we have interacted with the DA, and we now offer certificates of relief, which allows us to work with that person with their criminal record, and the DA signs off on a petition that says they're no longer a threat to society. And therefore, what we're doing basically is helping to keep Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, as well as many of North Carolina residents safe.
Good, thank you. She asked, what's the name of your organization again?
Mecklenburg Council of Elders.
Thank you for sharing. Who
Thank
took
you.
number 2? Did anybody take number 2?
Question 2.
You took
All
number
right.
2.
Did y'all plan this out? Right. Get my steps in.
I'll speak. So we took number 2, and I'll just speak to, they were very helpful.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And speaking to my organization, Creating Exposure Through the Arts, we're a nonprofit organization that teaches visual arts education. We empower youth to teach visual arts education, but also college readiness. So our unique outcomes from our organization is that we develop partnerships with other nonprofits, other organizations, schools, charter schools, public schools, and we provide a unique way to teach visual arts, giving hands-on experience and exposure through the visual arts space, helping them develop either entrepreneurial skills they could take into college or schools, and also resume building that helps from a visual art perspective, but also just a college readiness perspective. And I think what the unique outcome for us, which they helped me kind of come to the realization, is that the partnerships that we develop can expand throughout from, again, nonprofits to the educational space, and providing these people with, providing our students with an opportunity to kind of really have that real life experience and develop their resumes. We've worked on film in the film industry, documentary space. So I think what's unique about what we do that can't be found any other place is that we do go in, unlike schools, we provide this education in a community, we provide it in the schools sectors as well. So the outcomes is that we're really impacting youth, but then full circle, those youth become teachers in our program. So then we give them opportunities to actually work. So it becomes a workforce strategy as well.
So I'm not gonna name organization or anything. Do you believe you have any competitors? There's one that immediately comes to mind.
Yeah,
You do?
I think we do,
Okay,
but I think our focus is different from some of the other organizations, and our outcome is different because we provided folks with true life sense of, like, we have published writers, authors, filmmakers, and award-winning filmmakers now in our organization, because our documentary has now been, one of our projects is now award-winning project. So I think that the outcome of that now takes us to another level, that we're similar, just like you have McDonald's and Burger King,
Mhm.
but they have the Big Mac, we have the Whopper. You know, it's kind of the same thing. So,
Understand.
yeah.
thank you for sharing.
Creating exposure through the arts.
Speaking of in the mic.
Oh, creating exposure through the arts. So creatingexposure.com, creating exposure on Instagram. Check us out. We got
Thank-
some really good projects going on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who took question 3? So again, as you're thinking, someone had take question 3, but as Bart was talking, again, I was thinking like, okay, well, what sets you apart from this other organization that I was thinking about? So as you're doing this work, think about, again, who are, they say competitors, but who else is doing this work? But what makes you stand out? What is unique about what it is that you're offering and what the work that you're doing? Who took number 3? Anybody? Okay, over here.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
And while I'm traveling, Krista, I'm curious, how many of you, just in these 3 sharings so far, have learned about an organization that you did not know about before you came into this room? All right. And this is how this works.
So Charlotte Family Housing has a little bit of a competitive advantage in this one, in that we just redid our website. So started out talking about that. And then we realized that actually between the comment or the prompt on visiting the website or hearing our story and talking about Mecklenburg Community of Elders and remind me again, Firm Foundations, all of it was about building trust, whether it's electronic or in person. And that for each of us was one of the most compelling reasons to support any of our organizations. And then we had a big discussion about whether it's more effective or how it's differently effective to do it in person versus electronically.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Well, hopefully, again, this exercise was helpful to you. And again, it's a starting point. And also, it's a very good exercise for your boards to engage in because they have a different perspective as well as they are steering the organization. That's what boards do. They steer the work of the organization. So in your next board meeting, it could be, it's an exercise that I think would be helpful so that you can get their input as well, because in the end, they're responsible for the organization. So next, we're going to talk about what are you communicating? What is it about the way that your organization is communicating that is unique to you? Is it authentic? Is it consistent? What's the tone, etc.? So on your sheet, and I also have here, there are key questions that you should start, again, before any communication, beginning any messaging. What are you trying to accomplish? What is the goal? A lot of people just communicate, but why are you communicating? What are you trying to accomplish? The second one, who are the stakeholders who need to know and understand? Thank you. You have a variety of stakeholders. Who are the ones that who are you communicating to? Who needs to know and understand out of all of your stakeholders? What action do we want them to take? Do we want them to take an action? In the communication that I read at the opening of this, I didn't want them to take an action. Again, awareness, attitude, or action. I wanted to make them aware of this is ASC now, this is the work that we're doing. There was a small little action like, hey, we want to hear from you, tell us what you think. But again, do we want them to take an action? And if you do want them to take an action, is there a clear call to action? Very concise call to action. Also, what are the measurable objectives? Meaning, a lot of this is around, your fundraising, you're getting to the end of year. But what's the measurable objectives? We want to raise $10,000 by December 31st or by July, June 30th, 2026. But what are the measurable objectives so that this is the goal, this is the measurable objectives, what are the things that I'm doing to get there? And also, how will we know if we are successful in what it is that we are communicating? So again, the starting point of any communication should really start with these questions. But the big one, or two big ones, is what are we trying to accomplish with this communication, with this message? And two, who needs to know and understand in this messaging? And one of my big things that I drill down a lot is that there's no such thing as the general public. How many times have we heard, well, let's get it out to everyone. We got to get it out. Let's go ahead and send it. Or who do we need to send it to? Oh, it's everyone. Our audience is the general public. No, it's not. Also, how many times have you heard people focus on, well, we're going to send it to white women that live in this zip code that are 70 plus or 60 plus and make X amount of money, whose household income is this. How many have you heard anyone? Okay, yeah, I have as well. Well, say for example, if these ladies lived in Mecklenburg County, they all are white women. They all are in their 70s. They all are millionaires. but each one of them have a different attitude and mindset as it relates to what they want, what they care about, and what it is that they are going to give their money to. It's important to understand your stakeholders and the segments within your donor base, say, for example, with your donor base, so that you can tailor messages that speak directly to them. At ASC, we didn't communicate to our Young Donor Society the same way we communicated to our Vanguard donors, because we did intentional work to really know and understand what moves them, why they gave, and what it is that they want to see. So again, I love this slide. I learned about this slide from my good friend Julie Peeler when she was with Americans for the Arts, but it's true. There's no such thing as the general public. You must segment, you must target, and you must segment. So in your handout, there are some questions that relates to questions that you can ask to your donors that relate to what to learn about their motivations, to learn about their behaviors, and also to learn about their attitudes. And my question to you is, how well do you really know your donors? Again, just for you to think about. How well do you really know your donors? And I mean really know them. So we're going to take time at your table and exercise just for you to think through this table. Think through this question. How well, when you think about your donors in your organization, how well do you really know them? Again, around attitudes, motivations, behaviors. Why do they support your organization? And think of three people. But again, the key question is, and it's okay if you say, I really don't know my donors. I have work to do. But the question is, how well do you really know your donors? Take time now. And be honest. It's okay. If you do, great. If you don't, that's okay too. Okay, we're gonna give you one more minute and then we'll wrap up. Again, how well do you really know your donors? Okay, we're gonna come back together. This is good discussion. We're gonna bring it back, everyone. So we're gonna have a few call outs. Again, this is honest, safe space. No one's gonna judge you. It's fine. So who can share, who knows their donors? Who really, really knows their donors or doesn't? Yes, want to share? Let's get the mic to you so that our online guests can hear.
Hi, my name is Megan. I'm with Women's Impact Fund. We have two specific types of donors. We have a membership model, so most of our donors are small members, women in the community in Charlotte-Mecklenburg County who give at two different yearly donation levels. And then we also have corporate donors. So those are kind of our two big chunks of donors that we have for our organization.
And do you know, for example, why they give if you have three
Sure.
individual, like if they were
Sure.
part of Women's Impact Fund?
Sure. So obviously, I think a lot of the women who are part of our membership give because they want to be a part of something bigger. They want to give back to the community. We're a collective giving organization, which means a lot of the money that comes in goes straight back out into the nonprofits that we serve. So I think that there's trying to think here, a level of community involvement that people really get behind when they want to become members of Women's Impact Fund.
Okay, and I'm gonna press a little bit,
Sure.
more. And for you to think about, would you say you and some of your team members would know why your members, like Catherine Mooring or or Natalie Fraser Allen or Mary Lou Babb give? Would you all know that information?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously Mary Lou is a founder.
Mhm.
So I think that one of the reasons why she started Women's Impact Fund was because she saw that there was an opportunity for women to get involved in philanthropic giving in a way that wasn't necessarily readily accessible to people in the community. I think that Catherine is really inspired by our new program, the Spark Grants. And so I think for her, it was really about providing opportunities to create new resources for women who are serving in the nonprofit space here in Mecklenburg County. So I think a lot of it has to do with the desire to give back, but also the desire to be leaders in the philanthropic community.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? How well do you really know or do not know your donors? Oh, okay.
Let me go
Yeah,
back
one
here.
in here.
I'm struggling a little bit in this area.
okay.
One of my funders is because their approach is I know them. I mean, I tell them I love them. That's how close I am with one of my funders, which is Rhiannon Prize. But that's because their approach is to get to know us. They have a model. So
Yep.
they take the extra initiative. So we talk all the time. But then I have other funders and other donors that I'll say, let's go for coffee. We'll have that. I can't figure out how to keep nurturing the relationships is what I'm struggling. I'm like, okay, so we had coffee one time. How do I keep it going? So that's my biggest thing is trying to learn. I was just telling her, I said, I need a session just on that, on really not being nervous, even though I'm the executive director. So I'm working on that, but I'm getting to know my funders. Like I'm trying to send them a funder report from time to time, send them an email and saying, hey, these are some things that we have going on. But I want to really learn, get more comfortable in nurturing those relationships. So I have different relationships, different levels.
Mhm.
We just did we're working with Lee Institute to do a strategic plan. And some of my stakeholders responded and some didn't. And that told me that some know me and some don't, because some didn't participate. That's because some of my funders don't know me well enough. So I would say I have some great relationships and some I need to work on.
And also, just because they didn't respond, it doesn't mean they don't have a relation, people are just a lot of emails in the inbox and things like that. We can talk about nurturing. Okay.
Somebody, I think we have
Last
one.
one, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm with the Kaizen Foundation of North Carolina. It's been a challenge, and I'll be really upfront and transparent. We were having a conversation at our table about getting to know our donors and how much work there needs to be done. And me personally speaking, when I do an outreach or, we have fundraisers all the time, right? So I think people are donors, or at least from my personal experience, they'll donate because they like me or they like the mission, right? But I don't know what to do to her point, to cater to these relationships, like massage the relationships instead of just checking in once a quarter. Hey, I need that check again. And we all have similar interests. Even my mommy group, right? We talk about other things, but when it comes to, hey, I really need your support, sometimes they're into it, and then other times they may or may not. But to your point, that's not the general public, and I cannot approach them the same way I would approach my mother's. I don't know, walking buddy, right?
Right.
So I think there's space for that, and I think I personally come off a little pushy. I have a sales background, rawr, that's me. And so I'm trying to be a little bit more softer, but without losing the lead, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
I'm giving. And Krista, just
It is,
yeah,
go ahead.
to participate in this safe space that we have from the foundation's point of view. And you may not know that the bulk of our assets at Foundation for the Carolinas, because it is a community foundation, are held by individual donors. In fact, there are over 4,000 of them. Could we know more about them, about their why? Absolutely. Do we know everything we need to know, want to know, that they would want us to know? Probably not. So it's an ongoing process. We're in this with you.
Absolutely. And again, what you have on your sheet are just starting questions to ask. You can include in a survey, but for me, I really like one-on-one communication. It's important to continue to have coffee with your donors. It's all about building relationships, because for nonprofits, it's about relationships. Who can make or break your relationships, and to strengthen that as well, to nurture it and to strengthen it as well. I used to tell my team all the time at ASA, we can send an email. No, pick up the phone and call the donor. I mean, they would just love to want to email and let's do social. No, pick up the phone and have a conversation. And I encourage you all, I mean, I'm sure you're doing that, but I encourage you all to do that as well. Yes. Oh, can we get the mic over here real quick? He's coming.
Sometimes it has to do with whether or not what you're doing people want. Because some of our donors, because of what we do, we're solving their problem. Because the donors that I'm thinking we know that are regular, they do training, work training, job placement. When they train individuals, they cannot place them because they have criminal records. So they want something from us. We need you to clear this guy or this female or all of them criminal record so that we can increase our placement numbers. So we help them increase their placement numbers so they continue to donate to us. But I think about, if we weren't doing that, if we decide to do a song and dance and not do a criminal record expungement, would they still fund us?
Right. Again, and then it's about the value. What problem are you helping solve? Everyone's not going to have a passion for the mission and the work that you're doing. But if the work that you're doing is to help solve a problem that donor cares about, then yeah, I mean, they're going to support you. But again, there's no such thing as the general public. These three women that you see on the screen have different attitudes, motivations, and values. And it's important to stay in touch with individuals as well, because life changes, things shift. So it's important to just continue to have that connection. Moving forward with key questions that's on your sheet, again, it goes into the stakeholders. What do our stakeholders care about? What's the single most persuasive idea that we can convey? Again, tying that donor action directly to impact, using clear, emotive, and specific language that's easy to grasp and remember. So think about Charity Water again. 100% of your donation brings clean water to people in need. 100%, that's the key thing. Feeding America, just $1 helps provide at least 10 meals to people facing hunger. Think about that. What are the supporting reasons to believe? Well, those are the proof points, the data points, the credibility. Again, with Charity Water, we share the GPS coordinates, photos, and stories of each project that's being funded, letting donors see tangible results. The impact of updates with Feeding America. They provide statistics on meals being delivered, people served, food distributed. And then think about what channels are they on or are they consuming? Let's say, for example, Cher may be on Instagram all the time, but Laura Bush may be on Facebook and Hillary Clinton may say, I like emails. They're consuming information in a different way. It's not the same. And then the last one is, what's your timeline? What's your timeline? It's really important around planning. As we continue to move forward, as you talk about communications and storytelling, we all have stories. Your organizations have stories, which are great. But this is 10 storytelling mistakes made by foundations and nonprofits. This was in Inside Philanthropy in August of this year. And all 10 are on your sheet. But I wanted to lift up a few of them that I really, really love. Mistaking outputs for impact. People love to say, well, we fed 100 people. Okay, so what? What's the now what for the 10 people or the 100 people? People love to give numbers. Numbers is fine, but I'm all about outcomes. All of you are doing important work. So what are the outcomes of your work outside of just numbers? How are you really helping the individuals that you are serving? Is it enhancing their quality of life? Is it improving their mental health? What are the things that you are doing? Numbers are fine, but for me, it's so what? What's the now what for the individuals and groups that you are serving? Centering the institution instead of the community. Again, you're here to serve the community, different elements, facets of the community, different segments of the community, just like your work. Talking about people instead of handing them the microphone. Don't tell stories about people, let them tell the stories themselves. I'm working on a project with a national foundation, and I told them, I said, I'm not going to tell the story, I want them to tell the story. And I'm talking to grantees across the nation about the work that they are doing as it relates to arts and culture space connected to social justice movements. It is wonderful to talk with them and hear audio and interview them of the stories that they are and of the work that they are doing. It's not me doing an interview and then me writing it. There's you hear their voice directly. And it's also an opportunity for me to learn, but it's also an opportunity for you to learn, to understand, oh, wow, this is the power of my organization and the work that we're doing. So again, Don't talk so much about people. Hand them the microphone and let them share the stories themselves. And then underestimating the power of conflict and complexity. Not every story ends on a high note, and that's okay. It's real, it's raw, it's the truth. StoryCorps is a great example of this. It's raw, it's layered, deeply human stories. So again, there's also a link, again, you can Google that, but it's a wonderful resource for you to have just to think about the work that you're doing. Next, how are you delivering your message? Who's operating in this mode? I hear chuckles, that means yes. Ready, fire, aim. I've been there before. My friend says Christmas comes the same day every year. You should plan for it. We know things are coming. There's a set date. We know that things happen on this date. We know the end of the fiscal year for the majority of you is June 30th, 2026. We know this is when grant deadlines are due. It's all about planning for it. But again, operating in this mode is not helpful to you, it's not helpful to your organization, and also it's not helpful to the capacity of your team. Many nonprofits are very small, department of 1 or 2. You have to take care of yourselves and think about what is the priorities. So, and it just gets you off track. So again, it's important to center yourself and not operate in this mode. And also, people need multiple messages all the time. Can't send one message and then that's it. You got to keep beating the drum on the messages that you're sending. So get a rhythm and cadence and try your best not to operate in this mode. Again, what's the intention? What are the focuses of communication? Awareness, attitude, and action. So let's talk real quick again. We talked value proposition, all these different things. Let's talk about channels. What channels are you using? Is your organization using? How are you delivering your messages and communications to your donors? Is it one-on-one? Is it all social? Is it in-person events? Is it email? Who's writing a handwritten note? Who's having town halls or focus groups? The point is, where are we showing up where it matters the most? Again, to those stakeholders. Where are our stakeholders? Where are we showing up? We can't be everywhere at one time. And again, that's not being laser focused. So we're going to take a few minutes, again, at your table and talk about what you see here. I may have something that's not on here, but what are you utilizing the most? And is it the most effective? So take some time right now at your table to think about where are you showing up? What channels are you using? And also be time to think about, we're doing this a lot, but we are not getting the engagement or seeing a response or feedback that we need. So I'm going to give a few minutes for you all to do that. We're gonna shift also for you all to start sharing as well. So Tracy, if you wouldn't mind getting the mic, want to be mindful of time. So let's have a group discussion. Let's shift from table to group discussion of where are you, where is your organization showing up? What channels are you using the most and what's working and what's not?
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Blanton, and I'm the managing director at Theater Charlotte.
Well, let's give everyone their attention. Thanks. Go.
So there were a lot of things we've talked about that we're taking furious notes, things that we should really work on to improve. But in this one, I feel like we're doing a pretty good job. We use almost everything up there. We are in touch with our donors via email, on social media. We do a lot of in-person events. So we have a leadership dinner. We just did that. We invite donors to come to opening night. We have a little patio party at opening night where they get they can have dessert before the show and a glass of wine, but it gives us a chance to spend time with them. And that happens several times during the year. So I feel like we are using a lot of things, a lot of channels well. We just need to take those opportunities to get a little deeper with our donors. So we try to do one-on-one, let's go to lunch. And we have a pretty new board that we're excited about, and we're going to try to use relationships that our board members have to help us develop closer relationships with donors so that it's not just a hello at the event, but to get to know them on a more personal level. But
Yes, leverage your donors. I have a question for you. When you said you communicate with your donors on social, are the majority of your donors on social? Are you getting that feedback?
I would say that our
Or is it
older,
audience? Mhm.
our older decades-long donors are probably not active on social media, but our younger donors are very active on social media. So with our older donors, that's can we come have lunch with you at the Cypress? Will you come to our leadership dinner? It's just different depending on who we're trying to reach. Yeah.
And when you say social, are there particular channels?
Instagram, TikToks, we're using Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Yes,
Okay,
that's
thank
it.
you.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyone else? What channels are you using? What works? Do you feel like you're on everything? Let's think about, when there was a huge move to Blue Sky, who has a Blue Sky and Threads account? Who's using it? Who's actively using?
On the way. Oh, here you go. I'll get over there. Just
Okay.
We're really finding great traction on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Donors are great. The levels of engagement are heavy. You can even do heart stories. You can do impact stories. You can really do numbers. Everything is all in that. And most people in that are looking for something a little bit more. And it's turned way more social than what it did previously, where it was just professional moves and things like that. It's just the connection piece has been really strong for us.
And what type of content are you posting on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
What type?
Oh, no. It's just everything. It's whether it's a student impact story, whether it's a success story there, whether it's a donor sharing, whether it's the impact of our program and mentoring with students, all of it across there, from statistics to even me sharing little messages from what I'm seeing happen.
So there's not a particular one where we say we see more engagement around student impact stories than XYZ. Or you feel like
I mean, I can probably run a little analytics on it, but if I think about my brain more than anything else, it's really about when we show the groups. When we show the groups of students, it has way more traction and impact.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Go ahead.
Hello. So last year, we did phone calls and thank you notes for our funders and different stakeholders, and that went over really well. So we saw more donations come in, or just, expressions of gratitude for, thanking them and all the things. So I thought that was good.
And with your donors, I'm curious which segment of your donors?
So we did it for individual donors and our corporate funders. And so for the corporate funders, I mailed them the actual thank you notes that came from the girls that we served. And so I just got emails back thanking me for those. And then for the individual donors, our board chair made phone calls. And so people expressed to me how they enjoyed talking to her. We saw more donations come in, so that was a plus. And yeah, did I answer your question?
Yeah, and also I think you don't have to do it now, but when you were talking, also think about drilling down with handwritten notes, because I know there's a certain generation like doesn't really check the mailbox anymore. So again, when you think
Yes.
about
Yes,
segmentation,
for sure.
but I love that you again picked up the phone and a handwritten note. The power of a handwritten note, and also just picking up the phone is powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And one of my volunteers has really great handwriting, so I made her write a lot.
Yes. Thank you. One more person, anyone?
Thought there was a
But
hand over
Janice?
here.
Do you feel like you're on everything, doing too much? About capacity? Go ahead.
So I'm relatively new to the organization, which gives me an interesting insight to kind of what the organization has been doing versus what they're kind of digging into now. And one of the things that I've been really impressed with coming in is the real focus on we've been very surface across everything, trying to do everything, trying to be everything to everyone on every channel.
It used to be out.
Which every organization I think falls into, because we feel this pressure that we have to be on everything and we have to do everything. And one of the things that I've really seen over the last year and since I've joined as well is that there's really a focus on, okay, so where do we connect with people the best? And do we connect with everyone the same way? And so really digging into that segmentation, being intentional about figuring out who's going to respond to what. And we are still very much in that process right now. So I am not going to sit here and say, and we figured it out, because we haven't. And it's something that I'm really digging into over the next couple of months, because I really want to start being intentional about how I'm connecting with our donors. But I've liked that focus on data and liked that focus on how do we figure out where we're going to get the most return and where do we need to meet people. So I don't have an answer. I just have we're still working on it.
No, and I appreciate and I love what you said, and thank you so much for sharing. I mean, the work that she talked about is, again, being very narrow focused. There's so many hours in the day. Where are we going to spend our time? Who do we need to spend our time segments most, on? Again, it's about prioritization. So thank you for doing that. You don't have to be on everything. Again, I remember when everyone hit the blue sky, we're leaving this, we're going to blue sky. Oh, we're going to Threads. Are you using it frequently? Are your stakeholders on those channels? So just remember, you don't have to be everything to everyone. Next, let's focus on building your message. Can we be mindful of time? So again, all of that we talked about before is leading up to this. Having the value proposition, answering those questions. Who are your stakeholders? Again, segmentation. So going into building the message. You have this at your table. This is from Message House. And the first time I saw this was actually right when I joined ASC, and the guy who owns messagehouse.org, he doesn't own this the structure, that he doesn't know who created it. But and there's different frameworks for it, but it was all around stay inside the message house. We want to talk about all the things. We're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this and this. No, what is the purpose of our communication? What is our intention? But I was like, oh, this is really neat. And it's a very helpful tool. So the roof of it, the umbrella statement, it contains your primary message. Why does what we do matter in the larger scheme of things? What's the bigger picture? And the 3 columns provides 3 messages. And then the foundation contains the supporting information, like the proof points that you have. Trying to be mindful of time. We're going to take time and use this as a tool for you to create messaging. And I know you want to do end of year, focusing on end of year appeal, but thinking about what is that umbrella statement? Thinking about going back to the value proposition. Again, we're not going to solve this today. It's for you to start thinking and writing. What are those 3 key messages that you want a stakeholder to know and understand? And what are the proof points that you're going to provide behind it? So, thinking with those things in mind, I want you to we're going to take some time, about 15 minutes, and for you all to start writing. The foundation is the proof points. So I know you want to talk, again, it's fine to talk about numbers, we served X number, but also try to do an outcome of that. So those are the proof points that support those messages. And sometimes you don't have to have 3. Sometimes I like the house to just have 2. It's okay. But it's helping to support the structure of what it is that you want to communicate. Yes, proof like outcomes. We saw an 80% because of your gift. We saw an 80% increase in da 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 da. It's the evidence of your work. Mm-hmm. And I will say, if you want to, to acknowledge the funding landscape, I would recommend just keep it very high level. Keep it high level. For example, today's funding landscape is rapidly evolving with changing priorities, requiring nonprofits like ours to adapt swiftly. You don't have to name names. You can talk at a high level about this is what we're experiencing. But again, it focuses on the value that your organization brings, because that's what they connect to the most, not the changing funding landscape. You can use language like things are less predictable than they were. You can be transparent about the funding climate and how it impacts decisions and programs. Be honest and have candor about it. Can include how you're staying mission focused. That's why you wake up every day and do the work. And this is where you can also look at the messaging example they asked you to bring. If you brought it, fine. If you didn't, that's okay. But if you brought a letter, a donor letter, end of year, you can look at that and how would you reframe that using this tool. Umbrella statement is kind of the vision, the why of the organization, like the why. Again, we're not going to solve this today. This is a starting point, but again, for you all to think and write. Going to wrap up in a minute. We'll give you one more minute. Okay, I'm going to just read to you as you're wrapping that up. But again, it's a tool for you to start as you're crafting your message. But I do want to read just a letter to you that uses that message, this framework, so that you can hear around certain things. Okay. Dear donor name. As the year comes to a close, we want to thank you for your steadfast belief in the power, I'm gonna do clean water, in the power of clean water to transform lives. Because of your generosity, families across the region experienced healthier, more hopeful days in 2025. At our organization, name, I won't say it, our work centers on empowering communities by delivering clean, safe drinking water solutions with a community-centric approach. By engaging local leaders and creating feedback loops, we ensure that every project is built for long-term success. Thanks to innovative technology and ongoing training, your support helps us install reliable water systems that adapt to the unique environments each community faces. The results speak for themselves. Waterborne illnesses dropped by 30% in the communities served this year. That's like evidence proof point. More than 100,000 people gained year-round access to safe water. Local leaders tell us children spent more time in school, families reported improved economic opportunities after the installations. As we look ahead, your renewed support will help us expand to even more communities and deepen our impact. Every gift you make makes clean water, better health, clean water, better health, and brighter futures. Will you join us in making 2026 our most impactful year yet? You can give online, or call us. Thank you for being a champion for clean water and for transforming lives. We couldn't do this without you. Hopefully as I was talking, you could hear the umbrella, but also the supporting statements and then the proof points. And that also included the outcomes. Yes, there were numbers, but it was also outcomes because they were hearing from local leaders how children are now attending school, less absences, et cetera. So as we wrap up, reminders, this is on your sheet. In communicating and doing your messaging, I'm not going to read these, but really be clear and concise, be laser focused, focus on those key questions that you need. And the last one, test, evaluate, and evolve. Don't have it be a one and done. Always measure and see, is this working? What do I need to tweak? Just continue to test and evolve. And then accountability. What's one or two things that you're going to hold yourselves accountable to from this workshop? I hope my time with you, I hope you've been able to take some things away that you could implement in your own organization, but also, again, give you time to think, to slow down and think about what it is that you're doing. And also about how will you hold yourself and your team accountable, whether to, I'm going to dig a little bit more to learn more about my donors. I really want to use this messaging framework. I want to take time to pause and think about what are we really trying to do here at our organization to reach the goals, say financial goals. And always remember, it's about relationships. Thank you so much. You can scan the QR code. Would love to connect with you on LinkedIn. And thank you again for your time.
Krista, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and experience with us today. And we will be looking to continue to connect as we're all moving forward together. And congratulations for all of your impacts and impacts from the organizations you've worked with, which now include this room, plus everyone virtually. And how many people learned a few things from Krista this morning? And how many people learned something from each other? All right. It is all about relationships and that continuing connection. And we're going to keep that dynamic going as we're moving forward in the Agility Workshop series. You will see shortly a QR code for the survey for this session. So please let us have your feedback. That is how these are crafted, literally. And we look forward to staying in touch with you as we're moving forward. Next session is on October the 20th. It is centered on building fiscal strength and revenue. And we'll have some community experts, experts by experience with us for that session as well. So once again, let's give a round of applause to Krista Terrell. And to close us out, I would like to welcome our partner and good friend from United Way, Catherine Furman Sellers.
So thank you and good morning. I started reading a book this weekend called Crucial Conversations. I don't know if anybody knows about it, but it's about how to have an engaging conversation when opinions differ, the stakes are high, and emotions are running high. I'm about 100 pages into the book, and I haven't yet opened my mouth. I'm not yet ready to engage in a conversation. And I kind of feel like that's the same takeaway that Krista's given us today, right? Don't just open your mouth and speak. You got to be really intentional and planful. You got to get to know your donors. You got to tailor messages in ways that are impactful and that will resonate with your donors. You got to make those messages authentic and center community. And then you have to choose the right channels. And all of that strategic thinking has to happen before you get to open your mouth, right? So I think that's Krista's major message for the day. And I want to thank her for coming and delivering that. I want to just echo what Tracy said. We are here to make these sessions, we are responsive to you. So we are here to make these sessions what you want them to be, what you need them to be. So please do take the time to fill out that survey after. Tell us what went well, tell us what we could do better, tell us what more you want to learn. And we will take that back and make sure that that shows up in whatever we're planning next. And then do join us on October 20th back here at Goodwill for a session on fiscal planning. And so we hope that one too was designed with feedback we got from you. So we hope it will be impactful and give you what you need to know. Thanks for coming, and we hope to see you soon.